On this edition of The Music of Genesis and Yes, I feature a review of the third album released from Yes that proved so seminal that nearly every track became a massive concert favourite. Now, more on that in a moment, but first, if you want to be notified of all new videos, please subscribe to the channel. So, the Yes album was the band's third album, and it was released in 1971. It lasted for 40 minutes and 56 seconds to be precise, and featured 6 tracks on that original release on the Atlantic label. The lineup at this point was Anderson on vocals, Steve Howe on guitar, Chris Squire on bass, Tony Kaye on keyboards and Bill Bruford on drums. It was the debut in the band for Steve Howe, and the last at this point featuring Tony Kaye, and Eddie Offord was co-producing and engineering the album. Now, the band had relocated to Barnstable in Devon, down in the southwest of the UK, to finalise the writing and to rehearse the material prior to recording. The location, although idyllic, proved to be restrictive as noise after dark was frowned upon by the locals, and so they relocated to a farm in South Malton, about 20 miles away. Steve Howe liked these surroundings so much he later bought the farm himself. Advision Studios in London were booked to record the album, and it was around this time that current manager Roy Flynn announced he was no longer going to look after the band, and that the 5% of the band's publishing rights he owned, these would later be terminated. Interestingly enough, this was the title of Bill Bruford's solo contribution on the Fragile album, 5% of Nothing. This was written as a protest against Flynn. Brian Lane was named the new manager shortly thereafter. Now, the artwork for this album was the brainchild of Phil Franks. It was taken the day after the band had been involved in a road accident in Basingstoke. Now, on the 23rd of November 1970, as the band had played a gig in Plymouth, on the way back, they were involved in a head-on car accident. There's no serious injuries, fortunately, except that Tony broke his foot, and all of them were pretty well shaken up. Now, this was important, as the band had showed up late for their photo shoot, following being delayed at the hospital. And they just had 30 minutes available before they needed to leave to get to that night's gig. Things became rather hurried. The results were disappointing, however. Franks was a practical man, so he grabbed the head of a polystyrene mannequin that was about and took the band back to his flat, where he swapped the normal kitchen light bulb for a massive 1,000-watt jobby and took the shots he felt he wanted, including pictures of the mannequin's head on fire and dripping polystyrene that unfortunately the band felt were just too weird to use. The gatefold picture features Kaye playing his Hammond organ with his foot in plaster, and that was a direct result of the accident. There are 3 tracks on the first side, starting off with Yours Is No Disgrace. At nearly 10 minutes long, this was used as a tester for the perception of how well longer songs would be received by the fans. You know, that thumping, dramatic start to the proceedings that is so distinctive. Squire's bass, Kaye's Hammond, Howe's contrite lead, and this is a recipe for success. All were controlled by the mechanic precision of the drums of Bill Bruford and the angelic vocals of John Anderson. And the die is cast. Second track, Clap, is a short instrumental solo featuring the guitar of Steve Howe, showing off his unique talents on this instrument. As the name suggests, it's a happy, clappy piece that is there to simply enjoy. Side 1 closes with Starship Trooper. Now, this is split into 3 sections. Anderson leads off with Life Seeker, which is his exploration of life cycles, looking for the meaning of life. Squire's section, Disillusion, takes over in a bright, chirpy section that musically introduces approach before a well-sculptured harmony section takes us back to the chorus again from Life Seeker. The Steve Howe-written instrumental section, Worm, takes us to quite an apocalyptic ending, built with the constant repetition of a trio of chords being played developing him into quite a menacing section. It ends such a powerful opening side with two massive stalwarts of the band's history. There are 3 more tracks on side 2, starting with another classic in I've Seen All Good People. Again, split into 2 sections this time, it opens with that massive chorus sung a cappella before the track begins with the folk-based Your Move. The use of the games board in the lyrics helps to emphasise the need to break free from the norm. Move me on to any black square, or don't surround yourself with yourself, move on back 2 squares. This is suggesting perhaps a snakes and ladders or chess analysis of avoiding getting trapped by your own values. There were issues recording this section, and to avoid these, the backing track of drum and bass were recorded and looped before Howe added the Spanish loud or lute, and Colin Goldring added the recorder section. The use of the church organ sound heralds the change to the up-tempo I've Seen All Good People section with some excellent guitar work again from Steve Howe. He was amazing on this album. Adventure is next and was written by Anderson whilst already working in the studio. It's an underestimated track, and it's really difficult to place it within the overall context of this album. It's not a bad song at all, and there's some good contributions from each of the band members. It's about a series of experiences told and how each one can impact on life, but the important lesson is that you never shy away from them. It's about embracing the ups as well as the downs. It ends with a house solo that really should have had more focus to it, as well as some classy jazzy piano playing from Tony Kaye that is really good. Now it's a big finish to the album with another stonking track here, Perpetual Change. This is another track that makes this such a classic and has that real historical feel to the band's history. Steve Howe is all over the guitars along with the drumming of Bill Bruford. And then, when the start cannot get any better, in comes an extravagant bass line to drive it all forward. A mini peak is reached, and then in comes Anderson with the vocals, and away the track goes. There's some experiments as well, such as the band playing 2 different sections of the music at the same time. Very clever. A fine close to this excellent album, although the live version on Yes Songs is even better, I have to say that. This is a most enjoyable album with each of the 6 tracks a real individual sum that makes up the complete total. The quality within means that many of these tracks became live staples and helped make the band the force in prog rock they turned into being. So there you are. These are my thoughts on the Yes album. Let me know yours in the comments section below. If you found the video interesting, remember to press the like button, and in the description you can find a link to purchase the album, as well as ways to support the channel. So until next time, I'll see you all later.